Hi, sorry about the delay, guys. Some internet stuff happening. Welcome back to Transformation Tuesday. Thank you all for being here. Roger should be with us in just a second. Today we are exploring distractions, like the internet not working. So fun, right? Hold on. So he should be here in just a second. I hope everyone had a wonderful week and are getting very, very excited about this full moon. Hi, sir.
Hi, Margie. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Thank
How are you doing?
Thank you for not giving up on me.
I was wondering what was going on. I figured it was my phone again, eh?
Yeah, I'll take responsibility. Yeah.
All right, good.
So how was your week so far?
Busy and a little intense, I guess, with the full moon coming and all.
Yeah, and the equinox. Yeah, some cool
Yeah.
stuff happening. Yeah.
So it's ramping us up a bit, so there could be a little frazzle here and there. People a bit tense.
Yeah.
Sleeping's a bit more difficult.
Yeah, lots of
Things
dreams,
are, yeah,
right? Lots of dreams.
things are being triggered. Yeah.
Are you, did you write out your intention?
I did not do that yet. I have to do it when we're finished.
Okay, perfect. So
For the moon,
give
you mean?
what?
For the moon.
Yes, for the moon.
Yes.
And
It's basically going to be a clarification of what I've been intent I've been using for some time now. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty much prepared.
Nice. So today we're going to explore distractions.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And let's mention, first of all, if anyone has any questions, right?
Yes.
Regardless of where we are in the conversation, if it's a topic we've already covered and something comes up later, pop it in.
That's not just for you as the individual, but that also helps everyone listening because it can bring back certain questions. And we all tend to have a theme when we join, right? Where people are aligned to a certain thing. So someone might be thinking it, and when we ask it, that can explore into other areas, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So why don't you share with us a little bit about distractions and what you wrote?
So, I wrote a little poem last night. People might be becoming familiar with those, something I find a lot of pleasure in, and it gets some of the codes and stuff out there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So this poem has to do with being triggered into some kind of action, but not knowing really what I want to do. Some days are a strong pull to giddy up and go, but in which direction, I do not seem to know. Maybe I have it all twisted and turned. Something needs doing, or from feelings to run. With hand upon heart and feet on the ground, I make choice to summon what's needed and stand with all that may come. I got to get a little light. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
The feeling can't hurt me. It just is, then it goes. My great power, it's first choosing to be in my heart, where I simply remember the love that I am has always been with me, has always been here. So this came to me, I was on the beach Sunday morning, and already the moon energies are coming in, right? And some stuff got triggered in me. Just remnant things, very minor, but instantly I felt like the thought came to me, where can I go? What can I do? And it was to escape the discomfort of those things being triggered, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way a lot of the writings come to me and a lot of the processes. But looking at this from a point of view, if we want to live a heart-centered life and make much clearer contact with our source energy or our heart, love in our heart, we're going to have to work through all the things that come up. So we start with distractions from ourselves. And you can look back, a lot of people probably have experience with how they distract their children.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If they're like annoying you or in a big cry or something like this, you give them something to shift their attention. So we bring those habits, those patterns into our adult life as well. and we learn to distract ourselves from what we're feeling inside. We also learn to manipulate and control people so that they don't bring into our lives something that may bring discomfort, right?
Yeah.
Or we can get all wrapped up in externalizing, like how shiny our car is, or fancy
Or other
clothes.
people's drama, right?
Yeah, other people's drama, what the neighbors are doing, right? This
Yeah.
is a thought I had before as well. So I have people in my family that keep up on the neighbors. So there's not in a negative way, but they're always just focused on what everyone is doing and what's happening in our lives, and it just pulls us away from
Roger, do you want to
ourselves. Who's
answer that?
asking a question? Is that for you?
I think it's for you. It's like, where are you from? Since you're the guest.
Oh, yes. Okay. I come from, if that's location wise, I'm originally from Wisconsin. I moved to Florida about 1993. No, I moved to New Orleans, and then I was there about 4 years. I'm now in St. Petersburg, Florida. I have a day job here, and I do energy work weekends and nights. And I'm about 4 miles from the beach, so very cool. I go there as often as I can to get grounded and get in touch with the nature. I really love that. If it's beyond that, my website is recoveryourheart.com. I do energy work there to help people work through their issues, any issues they might have, inner conflict, and work their way back to their heart, right? Our original state of connection with source or divine, whatever you might call it. So bring more peace into our life, more stability and all. So that's my main focus, and that's where I'm headed. And Margie and I actually do quite a lot of energy work together, remote sessions for groups and single people, and also remote energy clearings. So we have quite a few years together, the two of us, throughout training. And
Yeah.
I hope that answers everything. I may have went on
He
too
gave
far.
you got a thumbs up.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So where we were talking about externalization, right?
Yeah.
Avoiding the
Hello.
avoiding what we're feeling, the discomfort in there. So if we're wanting to live from our hearts, we're going to have to work through all of those things, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is the work we do. First of all, the remote energy work, it's exposure, allows you exposure to universal divine or spiritual field within which you can get in touch with or align with, again, unconditionality, love, those kinds of things, and start working your way to your heart. It may at first seem like external, but then there's a point where you clear a little bit and realize those energies are something you can summon from within you all the time. This begins those processes, right, to work through.
Yes, it does.
To help us get beyond our ego and such.
Do you want to break down and maybe go through what you wrote so we can go into like the feelings and maybe things that occur while what inspired you to write that?
Well, it was initially I was on the beach, as I said, and some discomfort came in, and what it was there was a little bit of frazzle, probably Sunday from the moon or something that was coming
Or
up.
St. Patrick's Day, yeah, right?
Yeah. There was a lot of excitement in the air. So for whatever reason, some of my old stuff, remnants of that, were triggered. So I felt a little discomfort that I knew from memory, nowhere near what I used to experience. But immediately then the desire to be somewhere else came to me.
Yeah.
Where else can I be? What else can I do to get away from this? Okay. And often this is unconscious. We may not even feel discomfort. We may not know we're doing it, but it's something that we need to pay attention to if we're going to work toward our heart. So keep track of when we're feeling some discomfort and may not know why it is, what we want to do when we want to run away. And then we can track back perhaps and see, learn maybe through some kind of support, with others, or I mean, there's energy work. There's all kinds of ways to get to people like you.
Something that you said was you could relate it back to a time period, although it wasn't quite as amplified when you were walking on the beach, but you knew what that feeling was related to based on the inner work. So you could connect the dots very quickly on, oh wow, this isn't a dangerous situation I'm in, right?
Yeah.
Where when you were younger, you may have felt that way because you were very uncomfortable. This is
Yeah.
of that. I can go to my heart and not be distracted by this external thing, right?
Right. So I have a lot of years of experience with distraction. I probably started drinking when I was 15, right? But even before that, I had a lot of fear in me and low self-worth, so I avoided people like crazy. I was really expert at staying out of social situations and disappearing,
Yeah.
so people couldn't find me.
Which is a form of distraction, which is
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, running away,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got wrapped up in things like fishing and hunting and bicycling in this, and to extremes, actually. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I became like addicted to those things because they allowed me an escape from the discomfort, the inner turmoil that I had. So,
over exercise, right? Or anything
yeah.
is that. And it's not saying that exercise is bad. It's that using that as a coping mechanism to run away from myself was a pattern that I had created, right?
Yes. Anything there you see perfectionism in, perhaps, or discomfort if something's out of order or doesn't look quite right to you. Yeah, anything like this, our eating habits. So anything that'll distract us. But what happens is we want to run and we want to go in the wrong direction, right? We want to go somewhere away from what we are or where we are. So we need to reverse that and turn around and go through the feelings. Work toward within and just, dedicate ourselves to sitting with them and allowing them to come up. And perhaps we'll gain insights into what the issue is. Is it inner child stuff, lack of love from when I was small, or just negative messages inside?
Sometimes we use distractions also just to, in situations, not just like that, where we're so caught up in, especially now in society, we have social media, right? And our cell phones, everything that separate us from ourselves so much and so instantaneously now that we are really having to practice working at staying in our heart, even while we exercise or walk on the beach or with our social media, right? It's like, okay, this is like something that, and it can happen quickly once we create the pattern in our lives, but we have a lot more than what our grandparents had as far as what we can potentially be distracted by.
Well, yeah, right away when you were talking about that, I got an image of someone exercising with walking the beach with the cell phone in hand, checking the Facebook and the Instagram, and
Totally.
you know what I mean? That's where the charge comes from now. So there's a lot of people. I mean, especially young people now that grew up with this. They don't even know how to interact with anyone. They don't really know what they feel inside. It's all coming from that external charge.
I actually see it in even you go out to dinner, and I was at a place. I had to go pick up some stuff for my computer, and I stopped to eat at a place, and so I'm sitting and I'm noticing there's this couple next to me, and they're probably early 70s, and they're both on their phone. And I'm like, wow, they're not even present with each other right now. Like they're not only are they doing this, they're not taking in the food and digesting it properly. They're not looking at the environment and taking that in and what they're digesting, all of these external factors in their life. Such a disconnect from who we truly are and being present with the people that we care about.
Yeah, excuse me. That's what all life is all about, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's pleasures. Once you clear your way back to yourself, to your true self, and you can allow yourself to feel everything that is going on in the interactions with people and your surroundings, it's just quite amazing. And that's where all the beauty is, and love and
That's
The
also how
focus.
we grow, right? That's them. They help
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
A lot about ourselves as we do to them, and that gives us the opportunity to like really go inside and work with who we really are and let go of all of that external stuff, right?
right.
If
The
we didn't,
reflection of others.
yeah, we're so now in the time period we live in, we're so disconnected from our human connection and Earth. To be honest with you, just like the person walking on the beach with their cell phone, or almost afraid of like the communication with others and having those intimate conversations, even if they're about what you are eating for dinner, but like being real about those things that we don't realize that all the other stuff really is an external distraction.
Yeah, well, this becomes uncomfortable once we get away from it, right? Human
Yeah.
interaction brings so much stuff up in us that if we drift away from it for a while, we're going to have to get back all into it again and feel all of these feelings again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always like that very much. You know, a loner. I would stay in my home as much as possible, avoid the interaction. Then when I'd be in so much pain, I just had to break out again. Then I'd have to go through everything. It's like mirroring, seeing what people were mirroring to me and see where I felt it, you know, where I fit in as a human. You know, was I even like a living being that had anything in common with someone else? But then it stirs up all the stuff again. We go through our worth and
I was
our
just going to
fear.
say what happens is you'll go through your self-worth, right, in your case, and
Yeah,
be like, what do I have to offer in this conversation or in any of this? And the truth is we all offer each other something. We're all
yeah,
mirroring to each other something, right, no matter
exactly.
what. Yeah.
Yeah,
um, which is like why we are here. And to
yes.
grow. Yeah.
Full purpose. Yep.
Yes.
Reflect and interact and experience it all and evolve,
Mm-hmm.
learn. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So
So,
what are some good practical things that we can do to help practice not really paying attention to those external distractions? Let's because of what we do. Sometimes we can look at just the little distractions, right? Like the collective energies you were feeling when you were walking on the beach, right? And what that brought up for
yes.
you. But let's start a little broader than that and go into like the big things, right? Like the cell phones, right? Or even how we're avoiding ourselves in conversations.
Well, first of all, you just want to be aware. And again, I want to mention that this is for not everyone has a need to do this. Many people are quite content with, you know, interacting or being with those things. But if you're want to get back to your heart and connection, you know, your natural state, um, you're going to want to just set the intent to become aware of when you're being pulled to something, anything. Like, do I need to check myself? Do I feel an urge to check my cell phone, and why? Is it because I'm feeling uncomfortable inside? Is it because I need a charge from somebody likes something I posted?
Yeah.
This kind of thing, or do I need to wash my car because there's some dirt on it? Why am I? What are these? Where are these urges coming from? First of all, the awareness is key. I mean, a lot of us. Throughout much of my life, I went through it without any awareness that I was really doing that. I think a lot of it was unconscious. You know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
awareness, first of all, setting the intent, maybe asking your higher self to help you. You know, just go within and quiet yourself and talk to the part of you that's wiser and older, perhaps, and then noting these things.
Yeah.
I'll look for patterns, right? And then find out the next step I would probably do is find some environment or somewhere to sit with myself and feel what I'm feeling without reacting and following through with the desire, right, to distract myself. And
Yeah.
then
And
just
an
note,
example would be like, um, one, we'll use eating or shopping, right? Doing these impulse things where you know you're not hungry, but good gosh, Roger just sent me a box of chocolates and I'm going to eat the whole thing. And what I'm really doing is shutting down emotions, right?
Yeah, it's only a
In my
pound
case,
box.
that would be, yeah. And what?
I said it's only a 1 pound box anyway.
Yeah. And
Might as well do it all in one
I
sitting.
could kill a 1 pound box, especially if there's caramel and nuts in it. Just
Oh yeah,
hint. Oh, yeah. No, in the past, maybe that would be something, right? When we start recognizing that and going, oh wow, where is that coming from, right? And for me, the sugar was something to where it kind of shut off my awareness, right? It kind of blocked that when I was a child. And so that was an escape for me being able to turn off some of those senses that I wasn't sure how to work with them, right? And so recognizing that today I'm not going to eat a pound of chocolates, right?
yeah. Call
But
me
that
up,
was
and I'll come and do half.
yeah, I'll cut like a little piece, you know. But I'm aware of that, and if I'm going to eat 3 of the pieces, I know that I'm like in that place of me that's trying to distract myself from feeling. Okay. And it's the same thing when we create any of the patterns like that, whether it's like gambling, over shopping is why. What place in you are we trying to feel that void, or where's it coming from, right?
Right.
In your case, the hiding out.
Yeah, I mean, I did all sorts of things. I drank for many years. I went to rehab when I was 22. And still the distraction, even through so much of sobriety, this distraction kept coming in because I carried a lot of slower frequency stuff still, right? The ego was very active and powerful. Yeah, so a lot of anger and judgment and victimhood and those kinds of things would be triggered in me, and very low self-worth I had. I must have brought some messages with me from somewhere that didn't like me very much because I use them all the time,
Yeah.
right?
And
And
then you reinforced them, right? Then
I just made them so powerful. Yeah, they were like the king. So
checking in with ourselves and just not allowing ourselves to fall into like that pattern of, oh gosh, am I ever going to be healed, or like this just seems too much work and that seems so far removed that I can't do that. But understanding that we've all do that, and you just did this on Sunday. Those things, those patterns like resurface. It was a fragment of what you experienced when you were younger, but we all have that. And we all have those things that triggered us. It's just part of us, and that's okay. But it's learning to work with them and really understanding ourselves so we don't allow those distractions to dictate our behavior.
right, control us, yes, because that's what they do.
They do.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are here now, just my own personal belief, but a lot of us are here now and brought a lot of gunk with us just to work through it and find our way back through it all to our hearts, right? So,
when we start doing that, it's really interesting. It's so beautiful to me. It's actually so beautiful to me that it's not a big deal. It's just like, oh, this is just our stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then when you are willing to be open and look at that, how you manifest people in your life to share with you that space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People that understand, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can provide you a place to touch it all again. And
Mm-hmm.
it's quite amazing. But you start going through the work with it all, and it gets easier and easier, right? You become much more aware of when these things are coming up, and it's much easier to go into your heart and center yourself and just be with you again. You do it in a flash. It's like automatic now, but we're always monitoring. We're always staying aware. Although we've been doing the energy work for quite a while, Margie and I were very aware now. We're real close eye on these. We feel these things very quickly because most of it's out of the way. So you get to a point where it's just automatically that you're always monitoring yourself for dissonance within, and then we head back to our center immediately.
I want to say something, and I'm curious about your response to this. we've been doing this a long time, but with the energy supporting us now and the way they are amplifying things, it feels as though to me it's creating space for these things to manifest faster in people's lives, that it doesn't necessarily have to take the years to do it, you know, because people have already done it,
Yeah.
right? So, and we've witnessed this when working with people where it's like, wow, that's like pretty incredible. Like when they align, like how amazingly quick it can happen.
Yeah, it's like some people, it's very clear that they have intention to, they came here to do this work to get back to their heart, and it's time to do it now, and they just flash through all kinds of stuff in a very rapid or short amount of time. And it's very cool. It's all quite gentle, especially doing it through the energy work. It's very gentle, just the environment that we work with him. But yes, a lot of people are being poked and prodded right now because the energies are ramping up very rapidly, and we're shifting back to a place from toward heart and oneness and love and unconditionality. It still may seem a long way off, but this is where we're headed, and this is what's bringing out a lot of turmoil in the world right now. So don't be surprised that this stuff is being amplified in you
And yourself
now, and you're being called to do work. It's wanting your attention.
And there may be some uncomfortable feelings and physical sensations and moments in that as you're trying to learn to discern like what's yours and what's not, and how that relates to you. But as you practice it more, it'll become very clear.
Yeah, you become very familiar with your own inner workings and your old patterns and programs and such. So that becomes much easier. It can be very confusing at first and stir up some things. Although when I started the energy work, there was lots of stored up, built up emotions within, right? So.
Yeah. Well, you had like a lock and a key and like a chain over it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to keep it all there, and I like to, just keep stuffing stuff in there. So, I mean, it started opening my heart, and there were tears, strong emotions for a couple of weeks probably. And it's interesting, I was thinking about this today, how we judge the different feelings that we have, right? This is one thing we get away from too, is the judgment of this. This is good or this is bad. We learn, once you learn to align to your heart, the judgment is taken out. So what we do is just go through the experience. Okay, so I'm feeling this vibration of anger today. It's nothing that I look negatively upon. It's something that I just feel. I stay in my heart and allow it to come up, and I let it dissipate or whatever, transmute into light, and then I can respond in a normal fashion. But taking the judgment away from these things and just being willing to feel the vibration of what it is can make it much easier. And I mean,
it dissipates so much faster when you do that, right?
Yes.
Dissipates faster, and it's honoring the places in us that we're in a physical plane, and we're in a physical body. We have these emotions. We get sad, right? We get angry, but there's something we can recognize it's there and go, oh, okay, that's hitting the part of me that feels like I have to protect everything. Okay, I do feel angry at that, but I'm not going to go take a tire iron and bash someone's head in, right? Like,
So yeah, it's from a place of neutrality and unconditionality within the heart, right?
Yeah.
So we just experience it, understand what it is, where it came from, and it's part of the human experience, of course. Yes, we feel the whole range of things, and we always, probably always will, no matter how clear we become. But so once again, I want to just mention that if anybody's got any questions, even if the subject it was something we were talking about before, don't be afraid to ask. And also, if anybody's got interest in specific topics for future Tuesdays, let us know as well.
Yeah. Any comments are appreciated and definitely welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the hearts. I love those hearts. So we can look at, did you want to go a little while longer? You
No, go
ready?
ahead. Yeah, we can. Yeah, go.
I want to talk about a little bit about how much of a distraction other people are, especially relationship wise in our life, or can become. We can put our entire focus on these other people instead of, we're like sovereign beings, and it's our job to come to, not a job, but kind of our responsibility to come to learn that we're our own source of love.
Yeah.
Nobody else is responsible for providing that, but we can get all wrapped up in like the love
And
we
having
feel
an
for somebody.
expectation for someone else to do that for us, especially if we
Yeah.
get a pattern of like that codependent pattern, right?
Right.
I actually had a conversation earlier today about that, and how I have a couple really good couple friends who are fantastic, really, really powerful and beautiful together. Actually, more than that, but like 4 that I know personally that have, and a couple of them are that are definitely like in their 80s, and how they've grown individually, but also together, and how
Yeah.
they've kept themselves so beautifully in growth their entire relationship, that it's like this solid, beautiful thing. And of course, they would be devastated if something happened to either one of them, of course, right? But they are these beautiful souls that have helped each other to grow along the way, mirroring to each other the whole entire time. The
Yeah, that's
entire
very
time.
beautiful.
And it's so beautiful and so powerful. And we've gotten away from that, but it exists. It exists.
Yeah.
But you have
I've
to love yourself and know that that comes from inside of you, right?
Yes, and each person is a divine being in their own right, right? So there's the need. The way I look at relationship is that I learned to love myself. I have my own love within me.
Yeah.
Nobody else is responsible for that. When 2 people come together, they're basically sharing the experience of their own love with the other. Okay,
Yeah.
we're not giving the other person any of it really, and we're not dependent upon them
And
for
we're not
anything.
taking it from them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not our source. We're our own source. It's within our hearts, right? Right back directly to source, or it's the energy we're made of, actually. But so yeah, the relationships can be very distracting, and we may not even realize we're wrapped up in them at times. But something else to stay aware of.
Yeah.
Especially when you're feeling down, we can get that way, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Then sometimes there's that, especially when we bring in some of the other patterns of like the codependency and stuff, and then the externalization of that, there becomes that like push pull, right? You know, of how that happens, because we both have been there.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's not even just with our personal relationships, as far as intimate personal relationships, like committed personal relationships. That can be with family or our neighbors, right? That like, oh, did you see what the Joneses did last week? Oh my gosh, blah, 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 right? And it's like,
yeah.
do you even actually care about that? Probably not, right? And they don't care that you care. Like,
No,
yeah.
just looking for a fix.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I don't. Have you seen any questions? It looks like it's
No,
been packed up
but
on my.
I think we're good. I want to
Yeah.
thank everyone for being here.
I want to push myself again.
I'm going to let you. I'm not hanging up yet. Oh, wait. Roger, you go.
Oh, what do you do when you start to feel wrapped up in someone? Oh, what's really cool is that you're aware of it. Then it's a recognition, and then there's different kinds of things. I mean, like this is codependency and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's a mate or whatever. You can be wrapped up in anyone depending on what you're looking to get from somebody, what it's providing you. So The wrapping up, you need to look at, first of all, I always recommend people find some kind of support if they're really into this deeply and are serious about learning about it and working their way through. But the awareness is the main thing. And then sitting again with what comes up. I mean, sit with the feelings that come up when you need something from that person. And then they have to be tracked back to where it's coming from. Typically, it's, lack of self-love. This is where almost all of human issues come from, is the lack of self-love.
I'm going to, Roger, interject just a little bit because of a prior conversation I had with someone before this. And we were talking about this, not this exact thing, but close to that because of some pattern work that we were looking at. And one of the things is definitely the awareness and recognizing that, right? But also there can be people in your life, like one person, right, can be the person that helps you on your journey, the beginning of that journey, right? Mm-hmm. But as long as if you have people in your life who aren't feeding that, that's teaching you an experience that maybe you haven't had before. Do you know what I mean, Roger?
Yes.
So sometimes we expose ourselves to people where it's like, no, they're not going to feed into that. They're not going to play that game with me, but they're going to mirror to me how much they care, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to letting you create that codependent pattern again, which is how we learn and grow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking like one angel coming in, right?
Yeah. Well,
somebody that,
agree, but there are people who are aware of these patterns who won't play into that, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's really cool that they came, that they're in our lives to show us these things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody has that. They have to go out and seek on their own for the support or whatever. But if you're fortunate enough, pay attention to what messages. If these messages from this person, I won't get wrapped up in it, bring some discomfort. I mean, it's hitting the nail. You know what I mean? Pay attention to what's being triggered because you can really get whacked. If somebody exposes truth to you, when you're used to a non-truth, there'll be all kinds of issues triggered into you. Yeah. So pay attention.
Come up internally for that. That's true.
Yeah.
And Roger, you're an angel in my life, so
thank you.
I know they exist. I know they exist.
Thank you for your kind words.
Okay.
So I hope that answers the question. And I don't know how fast the Instagram here works. It seems things get locked up occasionally. So
I know there's a delay.
Is there anything else you think we need to cover, Margie?
I think we're good, Raj. I know that if anyone has any suggestions, you can email Roger for topics that you might want us to cover and see if they're within our scope of interest and scope of capabilities. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know, we can share only our experiences.
Yeah.
Our experience, strength, and hope, right? Mm-hmm. So, you can email me at roger@recoveryourheart.com. You can follow me on Facebook where I post some of my writings at roger.recoveryourheart. Or no, that's on Instagram. Roger.recoveryourheart. And then at Recover Your Heart on Facebook. I put some announcements on there occasionally in my writings, and I'll be adding more soon. I'm going to start writing more and things like this. So, and what is your email address, Margie, if someone would prefer to email you?
Margie.mcdowell, McDowall, @basmati.com.
Very cool. And there's one thing I'd like to mention also. I was just reviewing, took a quick glance at my notes. Sometimes we can justify distraction by seeing ourselves providing a service for another person because we put it on a higher level, right? We see it as a higher service than taking care of ourselves. Well, it's often just an excuse. It's somebody will say, "Did you look into that yet?" And it says, "No, I had to help so and so." So it's like we justify it and say it's okay to avoid our own stuff. Yeah. So I just wanted to
feel better.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to eventually have to look, so you might as well take the weekend and get some practice.
In my belief system, it's if not this lifetime, next time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How many do we want? Okay. Very good. Thank you, Margie,
Thank you.
very much for inviting me again. I really enjoy coming here and seeing your face and all, and
Yeah.
sharing
Thank
with
you,
you.
everyone. I'm going to give a shout out. It's Roger's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what an incredible day, too. It's super moon and the solstice, right?
Super, super powerful. Again,
Yeah.
Angel came onto Earth just to help us out, and we've got the equinox and full moon. Pretty cool
Yeah,
stuff.
very cool.
Pretty
So
cool stuff.
I'm probably not gonna have any cake. Maybe I'll get a cupcake or something, but
Yeah. You're not getting a pound of chocolates from me. That's what I'll say.
no, no, no. I am getting a very beautiful energy massage done, though, with one of my favorite
Yeah.
uh, support ladies. Yes, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to take care of myself
I
tomorrow.
was going to say that's a great self-love, self-care day.
Yeah,
Roger, you have a
very
little
cool.
happy birthday shout out for you. So
Yeah, I see that. Thank you, Holly. See?
yeah.
All right. Thanks
Thank you
again.
everyone for being here. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye, Roger.